Welcome to Devonport and the 34th Annual Devonport Triathlon, started in 1985 and in 2019 playing host to the ITU Paratriathlon World Cup, the first of 7 events and the only one in Australia, as well as the Elite and Under-23 Sprint Triathlon Oceania Cup and Championships and Mixed Team Relay Oceania Championships, all brought to you by Triathlon Australia, Events Tasmania and the Devonport City Council.
My name is Will McCloy, alongside me Craig Redmond, and in between us, none other than Hayden Wild from Triathlon New Zealand, who will be racing the Mixed Team Relay tomorrow. He's going to join us for the start of the race, but that buzzer you can hear behind is the start of the men's elite race. We're going to see some live pictures right now. The elite and Under-23, a huge field, about 60 strong, as they head out to the first turn buoy. They'll take a right-hand turn from that buoy at the top of your screen, head across in what is a quite a bit more swell than what it looks like there, as they go out past the headland and make another right-hand turn and come back into the beach. 750 metres in the water, 20 kilometres on the bike. That's 4 5-kilometre laps and then 2 laps of a 2.5 kilometre run course, and we will crown our Oceania champion. Hayden, how do you see this one playing out? There's some quality all the way through the field. You pick out names like, well, Tayler, Reid, Under-23 world champion, Ryan Fisher, 2016 Olympian, Declan Wilson's another name we want to look out for, but I've got 61 athletes in this one, and across the Under-23 and Elite, it really could go any way. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be a breakaway of maybe 5 athletes, between Tayler, Trent Throp, you've got Max Stapley there as well.
We see him, they're about to hop out of the water, and that's why we got Hayden Wild in here, because his eyes are a bit younger than the rest of ours, so he can tell us exactly who's coming out of the water, because it's been hard to see.
Looks like it's a blue 70 suit, so that's potentially Tayler Reid with the leg gap there.
Yeah.
It looks like also Trent Throp in that position, and Sam as well.
You were right, look at that, you were right. Tayler Reid out of the water first.
Look at that.
And then
Trent Throp just followed behind. There's Ben Shaw with the Irish kit there.
All right, into transition, a nice little crowd building in transition there. You can see the light green of Ben Shaw, Ryan Fisher amongst the group there as well. So our first athletes now out of transition and out onto the bike. And Tayler Reid, Under-23 world champion, leads the way.
Just behind looks like Trent Throp there as well.
So they go back past transition. Nice shots from our moto there, watching how strung out the field actually is.
So just as I thought there, you've got Max Stapley just on the back where it says ITUs, and there's also an Australian in there as well, so that's potentially, I think...
Good chance that might be Nathan Breen, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
At the moment, as they come past transition for the second time, they're out on lap number 2. A couple of chasing athletes there, Ben Shaw amongst them.
So it looks like that pack, it's a group of 7 now, so Ben Shaw's got on the back again.
Kurt Wesley, 21-year-old from Western Australia, also tagged onto the back of that pack. And is that Breen there dropping off the back?
These guys are going to try and make every post a winner, and if that gap's 32 seconds, that's pretty significant. If they can open that up by another 10 or 15 seconds, certainly the winner could come from this group.
And there is quite a large chase pack a little bit further back. And there they are, Tayler Reid, you can see Max Stapley at the back under the ITU flag. As we welcome to the desk the CEO of Triathlon Australia, Miles Stewart. And Miles, interesting racing so far. We're going to see some racing all the way from the youth through the para-tri, different categories, and now the elite women's and men's. It's a packed day of racing here in Devonport.
Yeah, it certainly is a big day, and there's a bit more to come as well. So, so far some really great racing, some exciting racing, and still hard to beat the paras. That's just amazing, inspirational, and it's fantastic to watch. So, some good performances today.
Tayler Reid on the front of the bike there, Kurt Wesley as well, Trent Thorpe, Felipe Barraza we haven't mentioned from Chile, as Reid takes a turn to head back and have a drink, and Wesley takes a turn at the front. And a guy like Kurt Wesley, he could run away with this one, but they're all kind of looking at Tayler Reid and just seeing what's going to happen next. You see, when you have an extremely accomplished or a world champion in a group, everyone's just waiting to see what they do, and sometimes when that happens, it falls into the hands of that person because no one's willing to make a move against them.
Yeah, look, his world title was a great, always promised to deliver a result like that, and for him to turn up at the World Championships last year and to win that race was a great result for him. But look, we must be too far away from getting towards the end of the bike.
Yeah, we're through that chicane once again. They're going to come up at into transition right now, and here they come. At the back of that group is Tayler Reid. At the front of that group, I think, is Trent Thorpe. And you can see the size of the gap heading back to the chase pack, who are yet to come into our shot, waiting for them to arrive right of screen, and here they are, and there's quite a number of them, and perhaps they just did get a little bit disjointed. It's got to be 30 seconds plus at this point. and they'll have to do a lot of work. Brandon Copeland, Declan Wilson and the rest.
36 seconds, so it's going to be very interesting, Will. 36-second gap.
I think that's Felipe Barraza in the Chilean colours.
And moving well too. Like their first 500 metres, they've just got a nice cadence going. They're looking quite relaxed.
It is Trent Thorpe and Felipe Barraza, the New Zealander and the Chilean, out the front of this Oceania Championships. That just shows you though how important transition is. Obviously that was an extremely fast transition. They got together and came out together, and suddenly they were 10 metres out, and when they're 10 metres out it's easy to suddenly go 25 out, and that's exactly what's happened as Thorpe now gaps Barraza a little bit, and as Thorpe, you can see the gap now he's put back to Barraza, I think has been swallowed by that chasing group now. And there is the gap back to the chasers, who now I think maybe are led by Tayler Reid.
And it looks like Matt Roberts sitting nice and comfortably on his shoulder from Brisbane.
Yeah, he's a fantastic runner, Matt Roberts, and he's another one who has raced a number of World Cups in the last couple of years. Second in the Rayong Asian Cup back in January, so he's got some racing under his belt for 2019 already, and some good racing as well. Right behind him, there is Max Stapley. Then the gap up to Roberts and Reid. So Stapley in fourth position with Kurt Wesley behind him. There is Matt Roberts and Tayler Reid, and there is Trent Thorpe. So that gap is now starting to diminish. He still looks good in his run. It's just that Tayler Reid is up the pace behind, and it looks like they're just about to take Trent Thorpe, and it's going to be with about 1.3 or 4 kilometres to go.
Yeah, they're almost at the turnaround, Will, so not too far.
All right, podium positions on the line, and the pace will be very hot. Can Thorpe go with them now that they've caught up?
Really interesting move of the guys. They didn't try and take him straight away. They're happy just to sit on his shoulder.
Daylight between themselves and fourth position. You can see there in the very far background, but now Thorpe's dropping off the back a little bit.
Good little move there from Matt Roberts. He's just starting to stretch that rubber band on Thorpe.
All right, it's Australia, New Zealand coming into the final stretch here. Just ahead now of Matt Roberts, and it's going to be a sprint finish, this one, will it? They turn onto the blue carpet, and it's Reid in front. Reid coming down the finishing chute. Roberts right behind him, and it looks like it could be Reid who has the kick in the end. I think it will be Tayler Reid. Tayler Reid, though, will take the win here in Devonport. He will take the Elite and Under-23 Oceania Cup and Championship ahead of Matt Roberts, who had a fantastically timed run, but the quality of Tayler Reid in the end was too much.
It looks like Max Stapley too, just crossing the line.
Stapley, yeah, with a fourth position, I think ahead of Ryan Fisher there, who came home very strong with a fifth, and Copeland, who came home sixth, and that just tells you how good that run was from Brandon Copeland, who started nearly 40 seconds back and finishes about 20 seconds back. Fantastic race though from Tayler Reid. Congratulations to him. Matt Roberts takes second. Trent Thorpe, who had a brave run, really ended up finishing in third position. He only got swamped with about 800 metres to go and couldn't match the pace of the Under-23 world champion. Max Stapley was fourth, so there was 3 Kiwis in the top 4. Matt Roberts, the sole Australian, and Ryan Fisher, I think, ended up in fifth ahead of Brandon Copeland, defending champion. But the cream rose to the top there in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, look, it was a really impressive race from Tayler. It was just the poise that he had and backed himself. Rode really hard, got the guys organised, didn't panic in the run, and timed it really well. And fantastic race from Matt Roberts too. He's certainly coming along really well. He's been way in Australian junior teams, under 23 teams, so he's now taking the next step into elite company.
My name is Will McCloy. Thanks for joining us. Craig Redmond, thank you very much.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, we got there in the end. Some worthy winners. Joe Miller won in the women's elite race, and Tayler Reid in the men's. One for Australia, one for New Zealand. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Go back and watch it all again. But until tomorrow morning, it's bye for now.